A bunch of TikTok videos with different eyeliner styles. Here's me trying some with monolids. Here's the classic. It's a simple straight line. This is the classic on me, and when I open my eyes, fucking nothing.
So my name is Tian. I guess I would call myself a comedian. I don't know.
Like, my dad's a real weird cunt. Here's this question he asked me. He was like, hey, Jenny, do you think of getting plastic surgery? And I was just like, what? No. And he said, well, you should. You have small eyes. And I was just like, oh. Well, I wonder which tiny-eyed hypocrite gave those to me. Beady-eyed bastard.
I've always loved watching stand-up comedy. From literally the first video I watched on YouTube was Dimitri Martin, and I was obsessed with stand-up. I watched so much stand-up comedy when I was in high school. I loved that it related so much to everything that I was living in my own life. I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that I love George Carlin. He's the best. I was just so impacted by everything he said about the world, and it made me rethink so many things. The way I actually got started was I did a theatre elective. There was a component in it where we had to do a performance. So then me and a group of other people who had absolutely no talent and couldn't act and couldn't sing decided that we would write jokes and do stand-up. And that was kind of my first little inkling of being on stage. And then after that, I went to an open mic just to watch. And then the next week I tried it, and that was it. I bombed, by the way. I was terrible at it. And then I got one laugh at the end, and I was like, oh my God, that feels so good. And then I just kept going. I don't think people realise how much comedians bomb to get to that level where they've got a bit that actually works. Writing in a notebook by yourself with your own thoughts is painful, and then getting on stage and sharing all those silly, stupid, vulnerable thoughts is also very painful. But if it works, it's the best feeling in the world.
The thing is, my mum's never seen stand-up comedy before, right? Because she's from communist China. So when she sees me on stage holding a microphone addressing a group of people, I just look like a dictator.
What shocks most people is that I'm actually from Finland. So my family is Chinese and they grew up in China and everything, but I actually was born in Finland. So we came from Finland to Australia. They don't even know what stand-up comedy is. I didn't tell them that I was doing stand-up for the first 4 years. It was only when I posted about my Sydney Comedy Festival show on Facebook that they realised oh, she's doing some sort of performance. And they didn't like that I was doing that as well, not because they didn't like stand-up, because they didn't even know what stand-up was, but because they were like, you better not be talking about our family and all of our family secrets. And I'm like, why would I do that? And I also didn't tell them about TikTok or social media, because I know that, who knows how they'd respond to that.
What's the difference between your first and last day at work? Hey, nice to meet you. What's your name? Martha, I always hated you and your stupid fucking birthday reminders.
The rationale behind it was when I started doing my first ever hour show, and I was like, oh my God, I need an audience. No one knows who I am. And then of course lockdown happened and I had no comedy, I had no stand-up. So I channeled all my creative energy into I put up one TikTok every single day.
This is what your email sign-off says about you. If you say kind regards, you're an intern. If you say cheers, you are one cool motherfucker. You're probably actually having a beer at the park. Cheers to that.
TikTok themselves have been quite supportive of me as well. I think I only had something 9,000 followers at the time, which is still a lot of followers, when they kind of just tapped me on the shoulder and kind of went, hey, you're doing a really great job. Coming along to some events where you meet other creators and stuff, and just seeing how far you could go with it and meeting other people in the community, I think also solidify, oh, okay, cool, this is something worthy of pursuing. There's something in this. People, literally some people, this is all they do with their lives.
What's the difference between your early and late 20s? My life is going to end when I'm 30. My life is going to start when I'm 30.
I think comedy online is different in that the standard of quality does not have to be as high as it is in the clubs. However, is that it needs to be more truthful online. I've tested out stuff where I'm like, this is my opening joke, this kills, and it gets no views. But when I talk about things that relate to people and are truthful and that resonate with them, tends to do better.
Online, I started during lockdown, actually, is how I got my start in it. I posted up my first video and I started getting comments on them, right? Like I got this one comment and it was like, "You're not funny." And then I got another comment that was like, "You should quit comedy." And I was just like, wow, 2 comments, that's so good.
I almost never read my comments just to protect my own like mental health and everything.
You need eye surgery. You obviously aren't Aussie. Do you know where the airport is? I do. That's how I got here.
Online with short form content, it's all about getting people's attention. I never expected as much as I have gotten, and in some senses it feels very overwhelming. Every aspect of me, people have opinions and have shared them very publicly with me, and I don't think they think I see them, but I do. I think I've had to do a lot of mental work to learn how to know that their opinion of me is not my opinion of myself, and kind of being confident and comfortable with who I am.
Tiffany, stop watching adult videos.
Mom, it's a K-drama.
Why don't you go up with someone for real? When was the last time you liked a boy, huh?
My web series is called Coach Dayam, and it's a TikTok series that was funded by Screen Australia. It is about a girl, Tiffany, who's in her late 20s, who has been single for a really long time, and her mum, her Chinese mother, is so fed up with this that she hires her a dating coach who happens to be her high school bully. And it's 12 episodes, 1 minute each, very autobiographical. Every time I see my mum, she's nagging me about how I need to find a man in my life. Otherwise my life won't be complete, and I'll get old and I'll die alone and I'll get sick and no one's gonna be there to take care of me. I co-wrote it with Patrick Alamco, a very funny comedian, and I was about to fund it completely myself, and then Screen Australia and TikTok released a grant called Every Voice that is specifically for a short form web series, and I was like, oh my God, the stars have aligned, I have to apply for this. I'm so used to just like shooting stuff on my phone and at most filming with a DSLR, but this was shot on an ARRI, which, for those who don't know what an ARRI is, it is like a film camera. Like there's a lot of feature films that are shot on this. And I hadn't seen like any of the footage until we got into post. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is so high quality. And I think my audience had the same reaction where they're like, no way they shot this just for TikTok. I'm very happy with what happened with it. I'm glad that it resonated with as many people as it did. It doesn't matter what the reception and what the views are. At the end of the day, we've written something that, you know, we think is quite funny and entertaining. That, at the end of the day, is, I think, also what matters. I still don't know if I'm officially considered a comedian. Like the other day, I was in a news article for news.com.au and they referred to me as an angry Australia Post customer.
Someone please explain to me why Australia Post is so shit.
I've currently reached a new milestone, which is that I am on the news.com website, the home of journalistic integrity.
And I think most people's public perception of me is still that I am a girl who makes videos on TikTok. Someone commented, because I had in my bio that I was a comedian, because I'm like, I want people to know that this is actually what I do. And then people were commenting and going, oh, you're calling yourself a comedian? Do you know how hard that actually is? How dare you say that about yourself?
Hey, did you know that there are more CEOs named John than female CEOs put together? Yeah, I know. I found this out and I'm just disgusted that I'm now exclusively attracted to men named John. Hey, you guys have been so much fun. I've been Tian.
I never thought I'd get anywhere in comedy. No one had ever called me funny in my life. Like, in fact, I remember telling a friend in high school, maybe I might try stand-up comedy because I love it so much. And she was like, Jenny, you're not funny. And I was like, no, you're right, yeah. Made so many friends out of the comedy community is really rewarding, and I think my life has a lot more joy because of it. Come to my shows, please. That's it.